Ali Mccoist has been a busy man today on Folk Football, discussing all things Rangers, discussing Greg Taylor coming to the club in the summer. But here, right now, he is discussing the potential Rangers managers in the pool for the next permanent Rangers job. Welcome back to Fog Football. That was a mouthful, but we're here in the end and we're going to talk about it. I think Barry Ferguson, despite being second favourite with what, Bet365, I seen he was 2-1, something like that. I think he's at the running. Obviously, we've lost too many games domestically. And you know what? It's a pipe dream winning the Europa League. He can do something about it later on the day against Atletico Bilbao, or Athletic Bilbao. I think everyone calls him Atletico Bilbao, but there's no O. It's just Athletic. So we need to accept that. But yeah, he was talking to Record Sport, courtesy of TalkSport Bet. And this is what Mccoist had to say regarding who could be the next potential Rangers manager. And I quote, "Who should get the job? I genuinely don't know. Will they go and attempt to get Steven Gerrard back? I wouldn't have a problem with that. Would you go and get somebody like Sean Dyche? I don't think Rangers will get him now, but Frank Lampard would have been one. I think that would have been a good move. But I've got to say, I do feel a bit for Barry. He's gone in there, and effectively it's the same players that have got the previous manager the sack. I don't know why you'd expect a dramatic change. You might get a reaction from a new manager, but it's pretty uncommon for teams to completely change under a new manager." I'm not skipping the question, I genuinely don't know, but I tell you what, it's going to be some interview process because they've got to get it right, man. They've absolutely got to get it right. End of quote there from Ali Mccoist. Right, so where do we want to begin with this? So before we even get into the three options that he's put there with Steven Gerrard, Sean Dyche and Frank Lampard, let's just move a wee bit further on from that. And he talks about Barry, right, and he feels for Barry, right? I feel for Barry because these players, I wouldn't trust him to run a bath, but let's be real. Gio got sacked, right? Michael Beale came in. We would be lying to say that Beale didn't get a tune at the players pretty much immediately. We went on a good run. Obviously, didn't really amount to anything that season, but in my opinion, that Ange team was really, really good and better than what the Celtic team is now, right? Beale, following season, of course, lost to Celtic 1-0 at Ibrox in an absolute brutal game of football, controversy galore, etc., etc. Scudded out the Champions League 5-1 by PSV, and then a final nail in the coffin, of course. Also we lost, was it 2-1 to Kelly or 1-0, whatever it was. Lost to Kelly opening game of the season, Sam Lammer's shite fest. And then we lost on the 30th of September to Aberdeen 3-1 at Ibrox. And then what happened? We sacked Michael Beale. Obviously, Stephen Davis took charge for a wee bit. And it was bogging. See that period there? It was bogging. And see when Clement came in, it's not like we were automatically great. But see, after a few games, we went on a big undefeated streak and managed to claw back and get ourselves back in front in the league title race. So when you look at it from that perspective, the last two guys, right, in Beale and Clement, despite both failing, when they initially came in, they managed to get a reaction and get something out of the group of players. With Barry Ferguson, he's not really done that. Like, yes, there's been the odd game, like Fenerbahce. We can look at Kilmarnock, we can look at Dundee, and turn around and say that they got the job done in those ones despite getting beat in both of those games. But the reality is, that's not good enough. With Beale and Clement, I think a lot of people were guilty, and even I, for periods of those runs, believed that we can maybe do something. Not once under this Barry Ferguson, internship have I believed that this Rangers team's going to be capable of anything. Because A, it's not really Barry's fault, but B, it's kind of just this team has been run into the ground. I think a lot of us have finally, the wool has been removed from our eyes, as the saying goes. Usually it's pulled over your eyes, but we've removed it. We've seen through this team. They're just not capable of doing it. And yeah, Barry, we've won at Parkhead, something we haven't done in fact 4.5 years, which, you can build towards something with that, for next season. Well, we've done it, so let's do it next season at the start of the campaign, or the New Year game, which it will be 2026, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's like with Barry Ferguson, there hasn't been the turnaround of the previous managers, and we can blame the players as much as we want. And I think it is all. I'd say it's 99% the players' fault. But Beale and Clement got a tune out of Rangers teams that look brutal. But looking back, we know they were better. Anyway, moving on from Barry Ferguson. I like Barry, Rangers legend, but it's not been that great. But maybe these players have simply just ran their course. But he spoke about Gerrard, he spoke about Sean Dyche, and he spoke about Lampard. As for Gerrard, there was obviously, he got a suit fitted a couple of months ago. Was it a month? Probably about a month and a half ago, 6 weeks ago. It was a Rangers tailor, and he was like, "Oh, good to be back." And the song hinted at a return of some kind. I can't really remember the specifics, but anyway, that's kind of out the window now for whatever reason. I would take Gerrard back. I would. He's a guy that actually knows how to win a league title with this football club, and in terms of managers that are still going and are still actually good, I think Gerrard's one of the few that could do it. I mean, obviously, you know, Mccoist. We don't really want Ali Mccoist managing Rangers. Not that he ever did win a league title with Rangers. Well, in terms of managerial, at least. But yeah, in terms of Dick Advocaat, I mean, he's still floating about. I couldn't even tell you who he's managing. But realistically, the only guy that can realistically come back and do it for Rangers probably is Steven Gerrard. But in terms of Sean Dyche, done an alright job with Burnley all those years. Wasn't too bad with Everton to a degree. He always kept them up. And obviously got sacked recently. And then Frank Lampard, he's went to Coventry. I couldn't even tell you what he's done at Coventry, to be honest. I couldn't even tell you what league they're in. I think it's the Championship, because I don't think Lampard would go to League One. But the more I think of it, the more I just look at it and go, these really our best options, or is this just simply McCoy sticking with 3 English names that he knows rather than mentioning like a Kevin Muscat or somebody like that? It's probably that, folks. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. That is where we're going to leave it. In terms of who I'd pick out the 3, it'd be Gerrard. I mean, because, yeah, it would just have to be Gerrard, wouldn't it? Anyway, till next time, Big Stevie G. Peace.